What is going on, everybody? Carson Day. I hope everyone had an amazing week. It is finally Friday. That means it is football weekend again with college games on Saturday and NFL games on Sunday. I know we had ourselves a pretty good Thursday night game on last night. The Bengals versus the Ravens. Man, oh man, it was a blowout early though with A.J. Green's 3 touchdowns in the first half. I believe that's his first time in his career. Heck of performance by him. I know a lot of fantasy owners out there that have A.J. Green on their team are really excited about that 3 touchdown performance. He did go quiet there towards the end of the game. Wasn't involved a whole lot, but he did rack up a couple more catches after that. I believe any fantasy owner will be happy with a 3 touchdown game from any of their players. So, but I definitely think a lot of people who are matched up against A.J. Green in fantasy this week are probably pretty disappointed about that performance. And especially that second touchdown catch of his. Andy Dalton was getting blitzed up the middle, just threw it into coverage. Looked like on a little slant route there by A.J. Green. He went up and caught it. Safety or a corner went over the top of him. He broke the tackle, and then it was a foot race between him and Eric Weddle, and he's going to win that more times than not. So that was his second touchdown. Other than that, the Ravens basically played from behind the entire night, which ended up with Joe Flacco passing 55 times. He had 55 attempts, I believe almost 400 yards, around 375 yards. And there's definitely a lot of targets for a lot of their receivers. Crabtree, Snead, John Brown. John Brown's making an impact on that Ravens squad. I believe he had 2 touchdowns so far, 1 last week, 1 this week. He was definitely involved in the passing game again this week. Even got some targets to the tight ends, the running backs as well. Alex Collins and Buck Allen were involved in the passing game. Just a whole lot of passes to go around because, like I said, they were playing from behind early, and they were down big. So a lot of passing attempts. Like I said, 55 from Joe Flacco. Definitely a lot of passing attempts in that game. But other than that, there was a few key injuries. I believe their Bengals center, first-round draft pick out of Ohio State, Billy Price, came out with an ankle injury. He was in a walking boot on the sideline. Ravens middle linebacker C.J. Mosley went out. I believe his injury was a bone bruise. He didn't return to the game. Joe Mixon went out there for a little bit, running back for the Bengals, but he came back in. They were checking out his knee. I believe he went to the locker room too and got his knee checked out, but he came back into the game. And then Drake Kirkpatrick for the Bengals. Towards the end of the game, he looked like walked off the field and ran into the locker room. What appeared to be a cramp there, so I'm not for sure on his injury yet, but I think the biggest one it takes a hit is the Bengals there with their first-round center out of Ohio State, Billy Price, on the sideline with a walking boot. So I don't know what happened to him exactly. I haven't seen the injury report on him, but that definitely looks like a pretty serious injury because we've seen that for week 1 with Greg Olsen. Stepped on somebody's foot, comes out of the game, he's got a walking boot, and he's going to be out for a pretty long time. I mean, that was on his broken foot from last season that he got repaired. So I'm pretty sure it's not the same case in Billy Price, but it could be kind of the same injury there. So it'd be pretty interesting to see what happens there. But the backup center that came in played pretty well. Andy Dalton even talked about it there a little bit. The flow never changed, so they held on to that game. I mean, like I said, Ravens were playing from behind the entire game, which led to Joe Flacco passing 55 times. Didn't really get Alex Collins involved in the run game. I'm actually kind of curious about that running game there in Baltimore with Kenneth Dixon last game. He played a lot of snaps, got a lot of rushing yards. I believe got a touchdown last week, but now he's on IR. And basically he got a lot of touches last week because of Alex Collins fumbled. And then also they were up big. And then it was almost like a split share again with Buck Allen and Alex Collins. With Kenneth Dixon on IR, it was like a split share of rushing attempts. I believe Alex Collins had 9 and like Buck Allen had 6. Again, they had to pass the ball a lot, which led to more targets for Buck Allen. I'm not too sure on the Baltimore's rushing game, but other than that, I was going to do a pack opening today, but there's only one game to talk about right now, so I'll say the pack openings and box breaks for Sunday, where I can recap a lot of the stuff that happened. But today's video is a short little 2-card Mailday. Well, I guess technically not really short anymore because I rambled on for about 4 minutes talking about the Thursday night game, but it's actually a pretty funny 2-card Mailday. We'll just go over the first card real quick and we'll kind of explain why it's pretty funny. First card is coming from 2015 Contenders Draft Picks. It is a 101 black printing plate of Julio Jones. Now, why is another 101 of Julio Jones funny? Well, that is because I already had this card before. I bought this card a while back, like a year ago. I sold it, and then bought it back again. Which I actually kind of felt bad about, because I sold it to a guy who looks like he collects Alabama players and Julio Jones himself. And it looks like he's selling his collection. And I saw it on eBay for a really good price, especially since this time it came with a friend. It came with the magenta printing plate. So now I have 2 out of the 4 10-50 Contenders draft picks printing plates of Julio Jones. Like I said, felt bad about picking this up, but it was too good of a price to pass up, especially with adding this one as well. They both were $11 a piece. He had them for auction on eBay. Felt bad about bidding on them, because I know he's probably a collector and he's selling them for some reason. And but it's still pretty funny that I had this card before about a year ago, sold it, and then now I got it back with a buddy with the magenta printing plates. And I got 2 out of the 4 10-15 Contenders draft picks 101 printing plates of Julio Jones. Pretty awesome. Do feel bad though, because I don't know why he's selling his collection, but I know he bought it from me about a year or so ago. So it definitely hurts. Like I said, didn't want to bid on it, but it's just too good of a price to pass up, adding a little half-completed printing plate rainbow of Julio Jones. Pretty sweet though. Pretty sweet 2 101s here. Here's the back of them both. Again, coming from 10-15 Contenders draft picks. They are the black printing plate 101 and the magenta printing plate 101 of Julio Jones. Still pretty funny though that I actually had the black printing plate about a year ago. So have it again, but this time with the magenta printing plate. So we'll see in the future if I can complete this, or do I just sell it as a half completed set. We'll have to see later on, see if any more pop up. But like I said, other than that, just short little 2-card Mailday, guys. I think I talked more about the Thursday night game than I did the cards, but 2 sweet Julio Jones 101s to add to the I guess the never-ending Julio Jones 101s that pass through here on the channel. Pretty nice collection if you ask me. I think we're up to getting closer to 30s, closer to the 40s with all these Julio Jones 101s. But 2 sweet pickups, half completed 10-15 Contenders draft picks, printing plate 101s of Julio Jones with the black and magenta. I'll be looking for the cyan and yellow printing plate out of the 10-15 Contenders draft picks of Julio Jones. Sweet, sweet. 2 more Julio Jones 101s. And like I said, I hope you guys got to catch some of that Thursday night games between the Bengals and Ravens. And I hope you guys are excited for football weekend again, college football and NFL football. I'm definitely excited. Definitely had a great time watching college football games and NFL football games last week. Now we got some really good college football games going on this week on Saturday. And got some really good NFL games to be watching on Sunday. But other than that, guys, this has been CardboardCellar, and I hope you guys enjoyed.